We just gathered this spring water from the spring here in Newfield, Maine. And I'm going to show you a few other ways that I test the water so that I can get a gauge of the quality of the water. I want to be really clear that none of these tests can guarantee that our water is free of contaminants. Things that can contaminate water, obviously things like chemicals that leach from our environment. I know here in Maine, some of the springs have become contaminated with MTBE, which is a gasoline additive. So I can't guarantee that based on these meters. Another thing that can contaminate water are things like bacteria, which I can't guarantee with any of these meters either. But what I can check out is things like, for instance, the pH. pH stands for potential of hydrogen, and it's the measure of how acid or alkaline the water is. That's a scale that goes from 1 to 14. 7, right at the middle, is based on distilled water. Distilled water is a pH of 7, and that's neutral. And we want to be somewhere in that area. As we go past 7 towards 14, we get more and more alkaline. If we got all the way up to 14, 14 would burn you. It's so alkaline. It would actually begin to dissolve the oils of your skin. If we went down from 7 towards 1, we'd be getting into a low acid pH, which would also burn you. We want to stay somewhere around 7. So let's check that. This is a digital pH meter. You can buy this on the internet for about, let's say about $100. This is a great tool because you can use it not only to check the pH of your water, but you can use it to check the pH of your own urine. You could use it to check the pH of things that you were fermenting or of different foods and drinks that you were using. So look at that. We're at 7.1, and that's great. We're down to 7, exactly neutral. This water source, I've been using this water source for a while. It's a really great one. It's quite close to a neutral pH. The temperature is great where it comes out. The taste of it's great. The clarity of the water is great. I've never had any problems with it. There's some other springs in the areas I was going to before that weren't quite as clean. This is a TDS meter. You can buy this. I bought this one on eBay for about $16. This measures the total dissolved solids in water. That's what TDS stands for. The dissolved solids are things like, those are the ions that are in the water. That's things like calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium. The more of those that are in the water, the harder that water is. So you'll hear that sometimes, hard water. If a house has hard water, they'll usually install a water softener, which pulls some of those things out of the water. A distilled water or a reverse osmosis water pulls a lot of those ions as well. So sometimes, a lot of the times people will buy a TDS meter to check the quality or to check the viability of the filter that they're using. So if you had a reverse osmosis filter, from time to time you'd want to check it with one of these to see if the filter needed to be changed. If that number started rising up, you'd know it was time to change it. The TDS reading, 0 to 20 would tell us water's distilled. That's almost no dissolved solids. If we were somewhere between 100 and 150, we'd be in a pretty safe zone. Much past that, we're getting into a hard water, which is not that hydrating, but would be considered a mineral water. So a lot of times if you see like a Perrier or something like that that's a mineral water, that would have maybe a 150 to 250 kind of a reading. Up to about 500 is getting into the unsafe zone. 0 to 20, like I said, would be distilled. That'd probably be so clean we wouldn't really want to drink that. That would actually be a water that would strip a lot of minerals out of our body. We're at 31. It doesn't get much better than that. We're really lucky to have a spring like that around here. Great.